year. You have to show your TTC student card every time you get on the TTC.
What were once seen as pieces of paper that got you from A to B might now be viewed by some as relics of nostalgia.
Natural moves on TTC, got a good thing going.
Tickets, day passes, tokens, and monthly passes that had hundreds of different styles of art, font, and were made up of various types of material. Perhaps they evoke memories from that time period and the ways Toronto is ever changing. Soon, these analog ways of boarding a subway or a streetcar will remain in the past. Customers will have to use cash, credit or debit cards, or Presto.
As someone who has a small collection of older fare media, it's sad to see them go, and it'll be interesting to see how long it takes between the point which they're no longer accepted and when all of the physical machinery that used to deal with them disappears from the system.
Starting June 1st, the TTC will no longer be accepting tickets, tokens, or day passes as a form of payment anymore. That deadline has already been extended to give customers the chance to use them up. The TTC says this is all part of its ongoing fare modernization.
I have some old transfers that are 100 years old, dating from the early days of the TTC, and they memorialize a time when the route structure was different. And of course, the TTC was much smaller. It was almost entirely within the old city of Toronto.
With the TTC being around for over a century, means of payments have seen a lot of changes. Here's a timeline. In 1921, legacy tickets were first introduced when the TTC began operating. In 1954, tokens were introduced with the opening of Canada's first subway.
Anyway, one of the extensions in the 60s, 70s era, they had a commemorative token strip with one token in it for the subway opening. So obviously, there will be no equivalent of this kind of souvenir in Presto days compared to that. But I'll live.
In 1980, the first paper Metro Pass was introduced, and it cost $26. The TTC began using magnetic stripe passes in 1990, and in 2005, Metro passes became transferable and photo ID was no longer required. In 2018, monthly TTC passes were replaced by monthly passes on Presto cards.
Once I've cut the Metro passes up, they get stored in these little containers. So these are all waiting to be seeded into the map.
Artist Nina Okens found a pretty unique way of putting her old passes to good use.
I had some Metro passes in 2018 and I thought, well, I either throw them away or I make some art out of them.
And Torontonians really took to that niche art. She ended up receiving thousands of passes as donations to keep it going.
I'm currently working on a 5-foot by 7-foot map of Toronto made entirely of Metro Passes pieces, and there are going to be markers on it that commemorate happy memories that people have had in Toronto.
In 2022, third-party retailers stopped selling TTC tickets. In 2023, third-party retailers stopped selling TTC tokens. And this year, the TTC will stop accepting legacy tickets, tokens, and day passes. The end of an era.
These are my favorites. I don't know if it's like a kinetic energy, but they're like a passport, right? They're what when you hold them, you think of all the places you went with them. There's something meaningful in them. So I kind of feel like everyone's energy is a little bit in there. And so I'm trying to put that into the art.
Now, the TTC says less than 1% of customers are actually using tickets and tokens, but still, that doesn't mean they won't be missed. Talia, Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
The TTC takes you safely